I know it's been a minute, but I hope you guys didn't think I was completely done with my Orisha series. I mean, because who on YouTube does Orisha stories, Orisha talks better than me? I'll wait. You know what? I'll let the intro play to give you even more time to think. Let me guess, still nobody, right? Exactly. That's why I'm back with another Orisha video. And I wanted to cover Oya again because as I have been getting back into my groove of filming, getting creative, creating content, I look back at some of my old videos, and one being the story of Oya. And that was posted 4 years ago. And in the span of 4 years, I have learned and gathered so much more information about Oya that I wanted to share. And the same for the other Orisha as well. And it's funny because that's exactly why I created this channel, so I can be open and document my spiritual growth and knowledge. So if you look back at my older videos and my more recent videos, you'll see a mental, spiritual, and physical growth as well. So I'm glad I'm able to document that and circle back around to talk about Oya. So if you want a general breakdown, I'll link that video down below that was posted 4 years ago. It's still great information about her, but today we're going to dive a little bit deeper as who this Orisha is in the form of transformation and change, and a major role that she plays in all of our lives. So first, let's start off with who is Oya? The word itself. The word Oya describes a mix of spiritual powers that play a crucial role in the Ifa belief system's idea of change. And you'll see throughout this video that she represents change and transformation in a variety of ways. According to Ifa, the interplay between light and darkness creates the physical universe, and Oya is the force that ensures this interaction remains dynamic and ever-changing. The overall purpose of Oya is to provide the change that forces consciousness to grow and prosper beyond the physical boundaries that we may place on ourselves. So you know how many people say change is uncomfortable right before you're about to walk into what you're meant to do in life or what you're manifesting. It always seems to be that time period where almost everything is going wrong. It's like the opposite of the calm before the storm before the calmness. But then all of a sudden, things fall into place and you appreciate that time period. For example, right before you get the guts to quit a job, it's like every coworker is getting on your nerves. You're messing up on things that you could usually do with your eyes closed. Then one day you're like, I'm done. But then later on, you're now working somewhere that pays you more and is less stressful. Or right before you end a relationship, it always seems to be a bunch of chaos. You're starting to put 2 and 2 together and everything just feels weird. Right before you're about to end it, realize you are being held back, you are lied to, controlled, and now everything that person does is annoying. Then one day you're like, I'm done. It's like all that ruckus has to happen in order for you to realize, okay, it's time for me to walk away. That era of discomfort is what Oya conducts. It may be like, girl, Oya, why you over here being messy? Like, why you causing all this drama? But it's because it's pushing you to grow and move forward. Because if we didn't have those periods in time, we will always just stay the same, stay in place and not grow because we're comfortable. Who wants to leave this good job with this good PTO, great co-workers? Miss Susie girl over there always brings in cake in that we could have on Fridays. It's casual. If I'm late, nobody cares. I get to work from home. Who would want to leave something like that? There is something that has to take place in order for us to feel uncomfortable so we can leave and grow on to something else and not limit ourselves. But that's not it. With Oya being one of the most complex Orishas, there's a lot more to her. So with that connection to transformation, Oya is the spirit of the wind, symbolic to the constant movement in nature. Now, wind in the literal sense and spiritual. Physical sense, as in the wind in nature, connecting her to storms, hurricanes, and tornadoes, and spiritual winds, which symbolize the constant need for movement to create shifts and for our souls to grow and transition. Speaking of transitioning, Oya is also over the final breath we take before we pass away and transition into our next mission in this world or in the universe. If it wasn't for the transformative power of Oya, we will all look and act the same, never grow, never learn, never expand our horizons, but all just walk around like robots. You know how people promote traveling because it's good to see and experience other cultures, how they live, how they eat, how they entertain themselves to add on to our knowledge? Without Oya, all we would know is what's around us. But you ever seen someone you went to high school with, years later they still have that same energy, almost like we about to go to fourth period together? And it's like, damn, you're still the same way I left you. It's like you didn't grow or mature. That reminds me of the absence of Oya. But then in some cases, you'll see people that you may have went to high school with and you don't even recognize them at first. It's like not only are they physically different, but spiritually different. They look happier, they look healthier. And you're like, wait, Chelsea, I didn't even know that was you, because their presence feel different. It feels like they're just grown. And I feel like the difference between those two people is that one ran away from that uncomfortable era in their life. I don't want to work because it's too much. I'm not going to apply for that job because they're going to have me here all day. I'm not going to go to therapy because what's a therapist going to tell me that I don't know about myself? I don't work on my spiritual growth because I don't believe in all that candle and woo-side and meditation stuff. I'm good the way I am. It's just, it is what it is. Those type of people. While someone else may be like, it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but I'm going to appreciate that I did it in the end. They are willing to go through that discomfort for the longer goal, whatever that goal may be. For myself, I always consider my Oya moment, we'll call it my senior year of high school. I still to this day consider that the worst year of my life. Different story for a different day and a different platform. I'll probably share it on Patreon. But long story short, I was talked about like a dog. It was the worst bullying experience that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And in that situation, I'm like, out of all these years, why did this particular thing happen to me? Why did they mess up for me? Don't worry about the details. And it was just a why me? Why this year out of all years? Why did I have to go through this? But now I'm like, I still hate that it happened. Trust me. I wish I could go back in time and make it not happen. But I see why, especially with what I do now. It gave me super thick skin. Like nobody can hurt my feelings verbally. Like when people ask, how do you deal with trolls or hate comments? And it's literally like, I don't feel it. I'm like, that's nothing compared to my senior year. Like typed out words don't have anything or the same impact as physically sitting in the class with people that do not like you and talk about you. It's just like, it's two different things. Like a typed out words like, oh, you hurt my feelings because you went like this. And I also feel like it gave me the sprinkle of meanness that I need to get through life where people won't bother me or push me over. Because before that oh yeah moment, I was very naive. I was so used to everybody liking me. Oh yeah, you're still, yes. And if I still have that, oh my gosh, everybody likes me mindset, I would have been quit YouTube the first time I started. Speaking of Orisha videos, if you've been here since I first started, y'all remember the drama that happened when I first started doing my Orisha stories? Everybody talking about me, forming Facebook groups, in my comments, just talking mess. If that Yaya in high school that thought, oh my gosh, everybody likes me, experienced that, I would have quit. I'd have been like, oh, y'all won. But this Yaya is like, oh, y'all talking? I like a little bit of gossip. Let me really make you mad. I have thicker skin and I'm able to continue to do what I do, which I'm glad because I see how much it helps people. So I feel like I had an oh yeah moment my senior year, and I feel like I'm entering one now with the recent passing of my dad. It's very uncomfortable, very ghetto, especially coming from a spoiled daddy's girl, not being able to call him up whenever I need him or continuously talk to him, get his advice immediately, and not having him in the physical form. It's hard trying to find my footing, and I can't really give too much advice on that right now about why this era is happening or what's going to come from it, because I'm still in the midst of it. All right, enough of my business. In the realm of creation, Oya has a task of making sure that there is no stagnation in any corner of creation and links cycles of reincarnation when our soul survives its physical death and lingers in the realm of ancestors. And while the souls of the ones who have passed on are in the realm of ancestors, it is able to communicate with us on earth. And this contact is facilitated through the spiritual winds that link the realm of ancestors with earth. And that very wind is conducted by Oya, which makes her an essential part of ancestor ceremony. So let me break that down a little bit further just so you guys can get it. When our physical bodies pass on, our souls are still alive, our souls are everlasting. So then our souls move on to the realm of ancestors, where all the other people who have passed on linger around in the midst of being contacted by the ones on the physical world. So you ever seen like a medium, like I'm getting a word from your grandfather, he says, do you still have that teddy bear that I gave you on your 3rd birthday. And the person may be like, oh my gosh, I see that teddy bear every day. That communication is being conducted because that individual's grandfather is in the realm of ancestors, which is able to carry messages through the winds conducted by Oya. And there are different realms depending on what you believe in as to where people go once they pass on. But for the Orisha, the realm of ancestors is how we communicate with them directly or via a vessel that may have a message that they can deliver to us. And this is why sometimes if you see people's ancestor altars, if they into Orisha, you may see something of Oya there, because that is what's going to help carry messages, along with who else is a messenger? Eshu, right? But that's a different story for a different day. But now we're talking about the winds of communication. Now, going back to Oya being the spirit of the wind, really quick, making another correlation between Oya and the wind. Now, this is my own personal connection, but knowing this makes me think about a certain song from the movie Pocahontas called Colors of the Wind. The song is about the importance of respecting and understanding nature, as well as embracing diversity and different perspectives, but also it urges others to listen to the voices of the wind, the water, and the earth as they hold wisdom and knowledge, which is correlating to the Orisha in general, because these are different spirits and guidances and gods, or whatever word you want to use, that are over different elements of nature and surround us every day. And Pocahontas emphasizes the importance of seeing the world from different points of view and understanding that there is value in every living being, regardless of their differences. So I want to break down a couple of verses which makes me think of her, then we're going to tie it all together, okay? Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? And y'all, I can't sing, so that's why I'm speaking it out. Trust me, y'all don't want to hear that. But this verse for me, and y'all let me know what you get from it, but for me, it's not only knowing what's going on around you, but wanting to know why. Being curious to take in information and appreciate your current circumstance. Like the story I told you about my high school year, if I never wondered why it happened and just succumbed to the, okay, I'm being bullied, so let me stay out the way so no one draws attention to me, or let me quit whatever was causing the bullying so I can make everybody else happy, or let me stop doing so much, or let me stop being extra, as everybody like to say I am. Let me stop being extra so I can just stay out the way and not draw attention to myself. I would have stayed in that dim mindset and never grew from it. But going along with the song, it continues to say, the rainstorm and the river are my brothers, the heron and the otter are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. And this makes me think of knowing that there is energy within nature and we are part of nature, and the connection creates a will that continues, connecting that to when I stated earlier that Oya is over the consistent movement in nature to make sure there isn't any stagnant going on physically and in nature. Imagine if the trees are like, oh my gosh, it's hot outside, I don't want to grow anymore. Or what if people say, oh my gosh, I'm tired of filling out job applications, I'll just stay here. If you just gave up and not continued with the flow that is necessary for growth. And then the last part, the verses are, how high does a sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know, and you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. For whether we are white or coppered skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. And this is the part right here. She says, you can own the earth and still, all your own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind. And that last verse is kind of really what reminds me of Oya. Basically, if you limit yourself to that one uncomfortable phase in life and let that discomfort win, you'll never know how far you were meant to go. For the specific verse of you can own the earth and still, all your own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind. And this reminds me of, and this may be a trigger warning as well, but this reminds me of on the outside looking in, you can see a person, they have all the money, they have nice cars, they have a beautiful spouse, beautiful kids, beautiful house, they always seem out and about having fun, but they end up losing it all or harming themselves. And then you're looking like, but you got the life people would ask for. What else were you missing? And maybe that person don't even know what they were missing because they could check off everything physically, but their spirit wasn't growing. They never been uncomfortable enough to grow to them higher selves or to think beyond what's in their bank account or how many square footage their house is, just very surface people. And sometimes people can't help that. They don't know any better. They're thinking, okay, in life I'm just supposed to make money and have kids and have a beautiful spouse, so I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but you didn't grow spiritually, so you still feel empty. But you can't put your finger on what you're feeling empty about because it's not physical, it's internal, but you never seeked internally to find out what else you are missing, to figure out why you're not balanced or you feel a little off, your mood is a little off. Just you never looked into it, so it's just always a burden of why do I feel like I don't have it all together even though physically I have it all together, which emphasizes the importance of Oya's power of transformation for overall growth mentally, physically, and spiritually. I never want to discount or dismiss anyone's feelings because I know I'm saying, oh, you have to go through uncomfortable times in order to achieve what you were supposed to achieve. Those uncomfortable times it can have you on the edge. It can have you overwhelmed. It can have you feeling like the world is against you. And I can understand why you would want to give up, because sometimes that uncomfortable compared to the comfortable, I want to be comfortable because over here, life was okay. Over here, I had a couple friends. They may have been fake, but we had a great time. You may want to go back to being comfortable just because the uncomfortable is so uncomfortable. I'm trying to think of a different word, but it's literally like discomfort, being uncomfortable, feeling strange, not feeling like yourself. And I said mine was my senior year, but for some people it's 3-4 years, and you can feel like you're being jumped because it's always something going on, something always off, someone always passing away, I'm always getting fired. You can feel it can be hell for whatever it is, and it can always feel everlasting. That's why I always say, in the midst of the discomfort, try to find some type of outside guidance. And I will always suggest getting a reading from someone, because to me that's just a more direct way to receive messages and clear cut. If you're going to someone that's not a scammer and know what they are doing. And this reminds me to remind you guys, I do not offer tarot card readings. So if you see a BlaqueWitchYaya DMing you asking you, do you want a reading? It's not me. It's a scam. Do not send your money. If you have sent your money, call your bank. It's a scam. But you want to make sure you go to someone who has the knowledge, the skills, and the transparency and the honesty to give you the guidance you need while you're in that discomfort, so you can find your way through, so you don't constantly feel burdened by it. You kind of have a cheat sheet, a map on why it's happening and what's going to come from it, so you can work through it and not just go through it. And going back to the song, I also wanted to mention just the word colors of the wind in general reminds me of the images I see of Oya, the paintings, the pictures where her skirt is blowing in the wind, and that skirt consists of 9 scarves, each scarf being of a different color and each scarf representing one of the 9 children that she lost. So adding on to our Oya knowledge, we now know that she is an Orisha that disrupts peace and complacency that is in nature and with people. In nature, during the spring, flowers are blooming, it's hot, but not too hot. But then Oya is like, oh, this is so nice, such barbecue weather, but I need to adjust the climate real quick. So enjoy spring, because in the summertime, I got a hurricane coming your way. And you may be thinking like, oh my gosh, what's the point of hurricanes? Why do you have to be over hurricanes? Like, why are you just coming in and destroying stuff? But hurricanes are major drivers of the water cycle, transporting large amount of moisture from the ocean into the atmosphere and releasing it as rainfall all over land. Without hurricanes, certain regions, particularly coastal areas and islands, may experience reduced precipitation levels, leading to water shortages, droughts, and impacts on the freshwater ecosystem. So it seems like a hurricane just messed up everything, and sometimes it does. Hurricanes are very frustrating. But then again, you see the destruction of it, but there's also a purpose behind the destruction as well. It has to come in to disrupt nature to keep nature flowing. And in life, you may think, I want to be the president of an IT company, right? But you find a job as an assistant director of an IT company. It pays you well. You like your coworkers, get health benefits, all the things that people will want in a full-time job. Then all of a sudden, the company is doing cuts and you get laid off. Of course, that's an inconvenience, but Oya is like, but you said before that you wanted to be the president of an IT company, but you got so comfortable here being a program director. We still got to make you the president of an IT company, so I had to make sure you were uncomfortable so you could leave. I've been trying to tell you to go, but you wasn't listening, so I had to make sure everything was chaotic around you so you can just feel like you got to walk out. And in the midst of this, now you have a choice, like, oh my gosh, should I just go get a regular job that I'm overqualified for just to get something quick, or should I really put in the work to go network and market myself so I can be the president of an IT company? However, the corporate ladder may work in the field that you're in. So this was just a breakdown of how Oya is the spirit of governing change and transformation in nature and in our personal lives. Let me know if there is anything that you want to add about Oya in this aspect, and we'll go into more of the ancestry detail in a different video. But let's just do a full-on overview of who Oya is and what you can walk away with. So, in summary, Oya is a prominent deity in the Yoruba religion, which originates from the Yoruba people of West Africa, particularly Nigeria, Benin. She is one of the Orishas, the pantheon of gods and goddesses worshipped in the Yoruba spiritual tradition. Oya is primarily associated with winds, storms, lightning, and transformation. She is often depicted as a powerful and fierce warrior goddess with attributes such as a sword or a whip, symbolizing her strength and authority. Oya is also associated with the cemetery and the realm of the dead. So just how she's the gatekeeper when it comes to us leaving our physical bodies to go to the ancestor realm, she's also the gatekeeper of where our physical bodies are held, in most cases, which is the cemetery. And she is believed to guide the spirits of the departed to the afterlife. So she conducts that transition of the soul leaving the body, the winds that carry the body to go into the realm of ancestor or into the realm of wherever you're meant to be. In addition to her roles as a warrior and a guardian of the dead, Oya is also considered a symbol of feminine power and leadership, which I also wanted to mention because a lot of people just think that Oshun is over femininity just because we're so used to the beauty and softness of femininity, but the power that goes along with it is what Oya represents. She is often sometimes portrayed as a wise and strategic counselor, offering guidance and protection to those who seek her aid. Oya's mythology is rich and multifaceted, with stories and legends that vary across different regions and communities within the Yoruba culture. That's why I always give that spiel before my videos. This may not be the story you heard because there are many, many stories passed on to many, many different generations and families. So there's always different forms and different translations. She is deeply honored by her devotees who honor her through rituals, prayers, and offerings, seeking her blessings for protection, courage, and transformation in their lives. And that is a deeper breakdown of the Orisha Oya. Let me know what other areas of Oya, any other Orisha you want me to go further into. I feel like I did the general breakdown of majority of them, but now I want to start covering different aspects so we can all add on to our knowledge and know her deeper and be able to spot her out, whether we're out in nature, whether we're watching a movie, or whether we're meeting someone and you're like, I bet you're the child of Oya. You can just see it on people. The more you know, the more you grow, right? So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Let me know which other Orisha you want me to go further into next. Be sure to watch my previous ones, and if you have any questions on those that you want me to go deeper into, we'll dedicate a video to it. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video, and like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, I'm Shay.